Today we're going to be talking about the top 7 mistakes that every SEO is making in their business, including you. Let's hop into my computer and get started.
So you want to be a rock superstar and live large, big house, 5 cars, you're in charge.
Okay, we're here in my computer and we're going to be talking about the top 7 mistakes SEOs make in 2018. You can see which ones of them you make. I guarantee that you do. I know I certainly do. So without further build up, let's get going. Mistake number 1 is the one that kind of encompasses all the other ones, and that's overthinking. SEO, for whatever reason, attracts people that are really technical and really want to know a lot of detail and make things difficult. But basically, it's just before they'll take any action, they're paralyzed and they won't do anything. And I see it stop so many people that could be doing so well, that are so talented and smart, that they just never stop thinking about things, and they make things so difficult. So like, instead of just going and putting up a video or a site or something, they'll be worried about if they need to set up an IFTTT ring to check the humidity in Bermuda and then pillow link that to a Twitter moment embed. After they drip feed that for 19.2 hours, they should rank after they send some social signals to a non-related Amazon PBN or whatever bullshit that they come up with. Like, just stop overthinking it and just go out and do stuff. Like, that's going to be kind of the theme through a lot of these, is that you just need to take action and just, I know that's kind of cliche, but it really is. Like, just stop making it difficult and stop overthinking and just go follow some instructions and rank or get a client or whatever it is that you're doing. Just don't spend so much time thinking, spend more time doing. So that kind of brings us right into number 2, and that's making SEO difficult. Like, no lie, like some of the strategies I see people asking me if they should be employing are so ridiculously complicated that there's just no reason to make it that difficult. I laid out my exact process in a video last week, and it's really like 4 steps, and it's really not that hard, and really you can get away with even less than that. In fact, let me show you a little diagram I made a while back. Someone posted in my group a while back about how to do local SEO. And then I'm going to show you what my counter to it was on how I would do it. This is the one that someone posted that a lot of people thought was really awesome. And I'm not taking away anything from anybody. I understand that this is like a natural tendency. But, I mean, look at this. This is how difficult people expect SEO to be. I decided to create a diagram of my own explaining my ranking process. And this is what I gave them. So you see what I mean, right? It doesn't have to be that difficult. You don't have to do all these elaborate link building techniques. Some of it helps, some of it's cool, some of it does have its benefit, but for the most part, this is all you need. It's PBN or guest post, a money site, and you rank. Period. You don't need to go through all those elaborate steps and have a big roadmap and all that stuff to make things complicated for you. This is what you need to do. So that's mistake number 2, is making SEO complicated. Mistake number 3 is not enough exact match anchors, or just general fear of over optimizing. I don't have a lot of time to do it anymore, so I've really haven't been getting into it. For a while I was doing a lot of site analysis for like other SEOs when they were struggling to rank, and I would get them to send me the links that they've sent, and 9 times out of 10 they had 0 exact anchors. So what do I mean by that? I mean that if they're trying to rank for something like, I don't know, Cincinnati dumpster truck rental, I don't know where I came up with that niche, so that may not be a real thing, but whatever. And they would tell me that was what they wanted to rank for. They would show me this elaborate anchor text profile with all these other types of links, but not even one exact anchor for it. And then they were wondering why they weren't ranking for that term. And I told them, like, by doing that, you're not giving Google enough information to know that that's what you want to rank for and what your site is about. And they're like, the common response was, I was afraid I would over optimize. Or I was like, no, you're not going to over optimize. You have to give them some information on what your site is about. You have to be specific. It's still a computer. It's a really, really smart computer, but it's still a computer. So you have to give it that information. And then a lot of them won't even, if they do have it, they have it once and they're afraid to repeat it. If you check the term, and I haven't checked it in a while, but if you look for the term in Google, Myrtle Beach accounting, I have an exact match domain ranking on number 2, somewhere between number 2 and number 5 for that term, that I've pointed a 25 PBNs and 5 guest posts to, all with exact match anchors, and that's all I've done, and it's ranked really, really fast. My point is, don't be afraid to hit an exact match anchor. That still works. I know that we've been told that you don't want to over optimize from stuff that happened back in like 2012, And that's true. You don't want to hit it with a bunch of crappy links with exact match anchors, but you want to use your power links for your exact anchors to post to get your site to rank. So a lot of people are afraid to do that, and it's costing them not to rank. So don't be afraid to use exact match anchors. And the same thing goes for like worrying about if you have an EMD, how you go about it. That really doesn't change it that much in my experience. A lot of people think it does, but my experience has been contrary to that. And the same with your on page. Just optimize it right. Like, don't worry about putting the keyword in there too many times. Worst case you're going to do is, if you do it too much, you just remove a few of them and see if that works. So don't worry about over optimizing. Use exact match anchors. Have some confidence in your ability, and just fire away and go rank some stuff. The next one is mistake number 4 is worrying about metrics and stats. So a lot of questions I get are, the trust flow on my site is 24 and it still isn't ranking. I get sent some more links and it went up, and the trust flow went up again, but it's still not ranking. That's just a metric that means absolutely nothing to Google. And then I get other versions of it too, like, I don't get it. The number 1 site has 0 domain authority and 0 trust flow, but it's been number 1 for 10 years. There's so many reasons that may be the case. It's so easy to manipulate those statistics that they don't matter, except for when you're selecting a PBN domain. That's really the only time I pay attention to metrics, and that's only like as a guideline. It's still more important to look at the links that are pointing to it. And then as far as other statistics go, like, sometimes there are some people that like to quote unquote call me out because I only rank for long tail terms or something. They've invented that in their mind because I wouldn't show something that was super valuable, but they don't get the big picture. Like, just because a term shows 0 search volume doesn't mean it's not valuable. It's more about the intent of the search than it is about the stats of the search. So I have an affiliate site that ranks for a fairly long tail term that makes me several $100s a month. I haven't touched it in ages. But if I was to show you the term, you would say that the keyword is worthless because it shows 0 search volume. But the fact is that it's not 0, it gets some, and the people that are searching are primed to buy. So stop obsessing over what the numbers tell you and think about the bigger picture. Don't narrow your thinking down that much. Stats and metrics just help you paint a picture. They're not the end all be all. Mistake number 5 is being afraid to spend money. I was unsure if I wanted to include this or not, because I get what it's like to be on a budget. I've been there not long ago myself. But I mean, this is still a business. You're going to have to invest in certain things, whether it's PBNs or tools or whatever. Like, people will spend hours looking for a group buy when they could spend 5 minutes spending $100 to get Ahrefs or whatever tool it is that they need, and have that information they need and move on and get the task done, and then and then get closer to making more money. So I guess it's kind of an employee mindset that you need to get over. And an employee will trade their time for money all day long, but they won't trade their money for things unless they absolutely have to. Whereas if you want to be successful in business, you have to be willing to trade your money for your time, meaning that your time is more valuable than your money. So get to the point where you're not afraid to spend money on your business. That's not to say go spend money on dumb things, but use it wisely and use it when it's going to get you closer to a goal faster. Like, you have to learn how to figure out how much your time is worth, not necessarily a specific amount, but if it's better spent trying to figure out workarounds or cheap ways to do things, or if it's better spent just spending the money and then getting closer to the goal. So don't be afraid to spend money unless you absolutely have to be. So mistake number 6 is treating SEO like an exact science. I cringe whenever I get a question that starts with how many or how long or how much, because it's never, ever, ever the same. And people get frustrated when I give them the answer, it just depends. But the truth is, it just depends. Every keyword is different. Every site is different. Everything you're doing is different. And it's not like computer programming where you put in X and you get out Y every single time. You have to find the art to it. SEO is as much of an art as it is a science. So you need to find a pattern that works and then be able to adapt as it happens. When I say I can't give, answers can't be given that are that specific, that how long will it take to do this? How many of these links will it take to do that? Whatever. Like, it's an art, not a science. So don't treat it like it's a mass production thing where you just put in the same parts and you get out the same product every time. You have to learn to be able to adapt some. So hopefully that makes sense. And then the final one is too much learning and not enough action. I love courses. I make courses. I've advocated courses, because every time I've leveled up in my business, it's because I invested in some more education or a course. But what I see is people getting hung up on courses and just treating them like SEO TV. And what I mean by that is they'll buy a course, they'll watch every single video in it, and then never do anything with it. Or if they get a course and the entire thing isn't there to begin with, they won't take any action until the next video is there, and they'll get hung up waiting for the new video to drop or whatever it may be. So it's great to learn. It's super important, but don't learn without taking action on the knowledge. So hopefully that makes sense. Basically, you need to learn as much as you can, but you need to take action on the things that you learn as soon as you can. So don't get hung up on learning. Don't turn it into TV. Go out there and take it. And matter of fact, stop watching this video right now. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and then go take some action. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in tomorrow's video.